for those that actually want to get real benefits and make good infographics that produce results, use it as a collaborator, because it is an entire process. It's not a whip up an infographic.
Yeah, no. And infographics have never been that.
No, they've
Infographics
never
have
been.
never been. Yeah, and to be fair, you can tell the ones that have just been whipped up.
Yeah. Welcome to the Cool Infographic Show, where we turn data into stories and visuals into communication. I'm Randy, and every week my co-host Jared and I will explore the art and science of infographics and data visualizations. We'll cover everything from viral charts to visual fails. Whether you're a designer, a data nerd, or just someone who likes good visuals, you're in the right place.
Excellent. Randy, how are you?
Jared, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. It feels like it's been a minute. What have you done since the last time we recorded?
What have I done? Oh, well, it's getting warmer here in Arizona. So,
Okay.
pool season is open. The pool is open, grilling outside, all kinds of good stuff going on over here.
But you did do something fun between the last time we recorded where you traveled across the globe
I did.
to get drunk. That's how committed you are.
It's not the goal. It just happened.
Oh, my bad. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Yes, we did a trip. We
Drunk
made
is just a
to Ireland. So we went to Ireland and visited some Irish whiskey distilleries and a whole bunch of historical places in Ireland and that sort of stuff. It was fantastic.
Yeah, well, maybe off the podcast. You have to give me some recommendations, or maybe that'll be a cool pick one of these days. Who knows?
One of these days.
One of these days. Exactly right. Exactly right. So, what are we going to be talking about today?
So today we want to talk about AI. And AI specifically in the infographics design process. And this is a huge topic. Like we're just going to sort of wade in and sort of, see what we can cover.
Yeah, what's interesting about what you're bringing up is I've been seeing a lot of people say how easy it is for AI to create an infographic for them. And I'm like, really? I've used AI. I use AI every day. But I don't think it's as straightforward as some of these people are making it out to be.
Definitely not. Definitely not. No, and there is a fear among infographic designers, and not just infographic designers in general, that AI is going to replace us, right? But those of us that use AI and constantly have to correct AI and fix AI,
yes,
right, know that we're not there yet, and we're not close to being there yet.
I wonder if this fear of AI is going to replace us is kind of like how eBay, they got the PR initially with like the founder's wife just wanted Pez dispensers, and that's how eBay became known. So let's make everybody afraid of AI because at least everybody will talk about it. But when it comes to design, anytime I've asked it or prompted it to create something for me, it is never right on the money. Never. Like zero times has it ever come back and have been like perfect the first time.
And there are so many posts or videos right now that are like, with this one prompt, you can make the perfect infographic, right?
Okay. Hey, now's the perfect time to do a cutaway of one of those videos, and we'll find that and we'll show it to you. Because I've seen them too. I've even seen them just run as like ads on YouTube in between YouTube videos.
In between, yeah, as an ad for a service.
Yep.
Pay me consulting fee. Pay me to teach you how to prompt this one prompt that'll make great infographics.
Yeah.
Now, this is May of 2026. Let's just put that out there because AI technology is moving at a unbelievably fast pace.
Yes.
Right. And what it does a year from now, it might be completely different. Right. But right now it can make an infographic. Just like anybody can make an infographic, but I have yet to see it make a good infographic.
Understood. And just for the record, AI, if you're listening, I do like you. I'm not angry at you. I think you're trying really, really hard, and I so appreciate it. If and when you become our overlords, just remember I said that.
Just remember
Thank you.
I think
I
part of the
laugh and I
problem,
cry.
and this is, I've been designing infographics for, I don't know, more than 15 years now. Um,
Yep.
the issue has always been, and I've always been using YouTube as a comparison, is that most of the stuff out there is junk. It's not
Yeah.
good. It's bad design. So like I say, I compare to YouTube. Like most of the videos on YouTube, there were just bad YouTube videos. People just holding their phone and talking
Yeah.
and having bad
Absolutely.
audio and shaking and and all that sort of stuff. But then all the good ones rise to the top and actually get a lot of views
Absolutely.
and a lot of love. Same thing with
Yeah, absolutely.
infographics, right? There are hundreds of thousands of infographics out there. Most of
Yep.
them are bad. Back in the day, more than 10 years ago, which is why I wrote the book trying to teach people how to do better infographics.
Yes.
The downside to that is that all those infographics that are out there on the internet today are what were used to train AI. So AI doesn't actually understand what makes a good infographic. It knows how to make pretty
That's
pictures. It knows how to be an
yeah.
artist. It does not know how to tell a story or create an infographic that does, a specific purpose.
That's interesting. You're right, because illustration, you can ask it to illustrate in any style and it will mimic that style and get fairly close. And understanding how we can take something like that and take it into a vector generator and have it generate a vector out of that.
Yep.
I totally understand that. But this is an interesting point where it's like, of course, it's not going to be able to do good infographics because basically it's swept the entire ocean of infographics and it's trained itself on that entire ocean of infographics. And I don't think it's categorized them. And this is what good data visualization is. This is not how you visualize data the appropriate way. Don't even get us into circle sizing, right? Let alone figuring out how to tell a story from point A to point B. And does that story need 5 steps or does that story only need 3 steps?
Right. And it's only recently that, they've really combined and improved the large language models, the LLMs, and the image generators like ChatGPT put all those together into one tool
Yeah.
that now creates an image and can get the text right and can get numbers right. And
Sure.
so it's not just making up gibberish. It actually can put it into context
Yep.
and then put it in the image. That's a fairly recent development, right? Let alone being able to do all the things that go into an infographic, which is kind of what I think we ought to talk about today. But
Okay. Yeah.
AI is fabulous. I'm playing with
Sure.
AI every day.
Yeah.
You're playing with AI every day.
Yep.
It is a great collaborator.
Sure.
Right. It's a great,
Yeah.
in this case, call it a creative collaborator, right? It can help you brainstorm. It can help you research. It can help you summarize, right?
Yes.
But it's still you who has to put all those pieces together and make something that's going to be meaningful and useful for your company or for your job or for your work.
Almost treating it like you're the creative director, it's the creative collaborator, and you are helping direct it get to where you need it to go. It's not going to magically just give you something that you're going to be over the moon with. You really got to work at it. And that's been my biggest issue with some of these things that I see on TikTok or Instagram Reels or even YouTube, which is, hey, just with this one easy prompt, you're going to be able to X, Y, and Z from a data viz perspective or from an infographic perspective. And that hasn't been my experience. So it sounds like, it's so you have put together a process, right? For
Yes,
the listener
definitely.
and for the viewer, a process of, okay, if you're serious about creative directing AI to help you with infographics, you can do that, but it's not one simple prompt. Let's look at the process that you need to go through to get that output that's really going to take that infographic to the next level, which we believe AI can help you do, but you still got to be the driver in the driver's seat.
Exactly. AI can be one of your, team members, right? Giving you support and giving you help. But you're right. You still need a project manager. You still need to drive this entire process. So,
Yep.
right. So here at Infinute and the designs that I've done, right, we've really spent a lot of time fine tuning an overall infographic process.
Yes.
It generally, here, I'll put this on the screen, right? It generally comes down to these 4 stages,
Hmm.
right? And I think it's worth talking through the stages, and then we're not going to dive into actually using the tools today. I think we just want to talk about where we think there's opportunity to
Just an
use
overview.
AI to make this process either easier or better.
Yeah, I like that. And it's 4 Ps. Okay. I love that too.
Yep, the 4 Ps, right? So planning,
There we go.
production, publishing, and promotion. And I can't tell you how many people just jump to production, the design process, make an infographic, and
Sure.
just ignore everything
Yep.
else. And then they say, oh,
Yeah.
infographics don't work. Well, of course not, because you didn't put the work into it.
Yeah.
So, in general terms, right, planning is figuring out what topics you want to cover, how they're going to help your business or your website or your traffic or your search engine optimization or whatever your goal
Yep.
is, making sure you have a goal, figuring out what that message is. Do you have data to work with to prove your point or
Yes.
to support your idea? And kind of laying out what is the story that you want to tell to people. And you really got to go through all that planning before you get into production. And the production stage is where you actually do the design. You do design concepts, you come up with illustrations and icons, you design the data visualizations and figure out what data visualization style is going to work for your data. Publishing is when you've finished the design. Now you've got to put it somewhere, right? It's got to have a home so that you can share it and send people to that home and go see that infographic. And then promotion
Yep.
is the marketing, right? You want to do outreach. You want to let other infographic blogs share your infographic. You want your fans, your customers, share it within your industry, that kind of stuff, and really getting the
Yep.
word out and getting your infographic out there. And so those are really the 4 big stages of the infographic design process.
And what you're saying is that AI can be a helpful tool in optimizing each 4 of these stages.
Yes.
It's like a team member. It's not the driver. It's not the director. It's a team member to be used to help make something better, to polish
Yeah.
something.
And here's the big thing is I've identified at least 40 or 50 steps in this process where AI can help
Yeah.
you. Right. But
Oh,
sometimes
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Say that again. I'm sorry. What did you say? What? 4 to 5?
40 to 50
Oh my
different
God.
steps in this process where
Yes,
AI
I
can
bet.
be
No, I bet.
supportive if you need that kind of support, because we're doing all these steps without AI already.
Yep.
So you may be some of these steps you may not even need AI, but AI could help you if it's something that your team or you need support with.
And the naysayers out there may say that that's overkill, but you have 15 years plus experience on what it takes to create a successful infographic. Not only is it producing something, but it's making sure something's published correctly, and ultimately that the infographic is doing the job that it's meant to in
Right.
creation, which is what is the call to action that you're trying to drive to? What is the
Exactly.
story that you're driving?
Is it
And it's so
trying to
much
sell a
bigger.
product? Is it trying to get
Yep.
visitors to your YouTube channel? Is it
Yep.
trying to get people to sign up for your newsletter? There's a goal to an infographic.
Yep.
And only successful infographics, when you come back later and say, okay, did we get more people to subscribe to our newsletter? You can have data and you
Yep.
can support that and say, yeah, it was really successful because we did this,
Yep.
and this.
And even in the era of animation and constant more and more video on our feeds, static infographics still actually create the kind of attention you still need.
Absolutely. They've become a staple in most marketing, campaigns or strategies.
Sure.
Right. So if we just dive into the planning category, right? So just in planning, and these aren't all the steps that happen in planning, but these are the steps that I've identified where I think AI can be a support, right? They can be your
Sure.
collaborator. Create a creative brief. So at InfoNewt, we have a creative brief anybody can download this. Here, I'll show it to you. Anybody can download this creative brief from the website. The idea is just to get all the information on the table before starting a project.
Yep. Get it out of your head and onto paper.
Get it out of their head, onto paper. And you may not have all the answers yet.
Sure.
You may know you want an infographic, but you may not know where to get the data yet, or something like that.
Yep.
And so, but this idea is, what do you know and what do you already have in place? This is a Word doc on the InfoNewt site. Anybody can download it, edit it, make it their own. But you could actually ask ChatGPT or some LLM model to help you create your own infographic creative brief, right? Because this one's written for external clients, but you may be a designer supporting an internal team. And so the questions might be very different. What cost center, or who needs to be involved? Who's the approval process? Those kind of things aren't in this one, but they may be in your process.
I have used both ChatGPT and Claude to create creative briefs for me. They're pretty similar in their outputs, maybe some nuances. I think I may prefer chats over Claude's, but that's just because I've probably trained my chat better than I've trained Claude.
And I think that's your opinion today, right? Next month.
Absolutely. Yes.
The next update.
Good.
And guess what?
Good call out.
Claude's better at it now.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Okay. Really identifying targets, so if you want to do something that's going to drive web traffic with an infographic, right? You want to drive people and traffic to your website. There's a whole industry of SEO, right? Search engine optimization is this whole thing about helping optimize your content, your website, so that search engines, specifically Google, but all search engines, right, will drive traffic to your website.
Yes.
If that's your goal for an infographic, then what keywords do we need to focus on for our particular website? And SEO, not only just an SEO consultant or internal if you've got SEO experts, but ChatGPT can help you with that. ChatGPT can go look at your website and, number 3 here, do a competitive assessment of who your main competitors are and figure out what keywords are working for you, what keywords are working for your competitors, and where you really need to focus your attention.
Yep, that makes sense.
The next 2, brainstorming topics and prior art search, are kind of connected because in the infographic design world, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. If somebody has already done an infographic about the topic you have in mind, we don't want to recreate that. We really want to find fresh, open green space where we can build and create something that nobody else has ever done before. So our prior art search is super important. And because tools like ChatGPT are now connected to the internet, you can have it go look at websites, you can have it do web searches. It can really streamline your process of finding infographics about your topic that have already been done. And that's one of those things that like a ChatGPT can do, but running LM Studio offline locally can't do, right? It's one of those things where it has to have access to the internet to do that for you. Data is a big thing, right? Sometimes the client already has the data. Sometimes it's internal data they've generated. Sometimes we have to go find data, and it can really, really help you find data sources. You got to go validate them, right? Don't just take ChatGPT's word for it, but it can give you some great ideas as to where to gather some data from. Really focus on your target audience, figure out who is it you're trying to talk to? Who is it that you think you want to address with this infographic? Because that's going to help later when you're doing prompting. Like this is, I'm trying to get more millennials to subscribe to my newsletter. Well, that's important because you want a design that's going to appeal to that audience.
Absolutely. And I think this double clicking on this one specifically, because you might think you have a target demographic in mind. You can put all of the prompts in and tell chat or the LLM this. They could also offer other suggestions on target demographics you're not even thinking of.
Exactly.
That may relate to this because of what the LLM knows.
And you'll see this next one, brainstorming, as a word frequently, because these AIs are great brainstorming partners to give you ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of before. So even this next one, brainstorming infographic formats, some infographics are timelines. Some infographics are large charts. Some infographics are side-by-side comparisons, right? And so there are different kinds of ways to organize data in an infographic. And any of these AIs can help you, what would our data look like this? Which format would make more sense? Which format could we use that we haven't tried before? And that goes back to your prior art search. If what your competitors have done are side-by-side comparison infographics, let AI help you come up with, okay, how can we do something new and different that nobody's done before?
Sure.
Identify upcoming opportunities. That's a little vague, but what I mean by that is if Cinco de Mayo is coming up, right, and you want to do something about margaritas and cocktails and tequila, and it's October,
tacos.
Don't do it now. Identify, hey, you've got a target opportunity in May to do something around Cinco de Mayo. Let's focus on that and schedule it back then. So it may be something or an industry event or a national holiday or, something coming up, summer vacation. And
honestly, using AI to ask you questions to yourself on, is this the best use of this at this time, is a great way to use AI, because then they could give you suggestions on, are you thinking about this? Are you thinking about this?
Right. Or even when would be the best time to publish this topic or this infographic in the course of the year, not like time of day, but like when during the year would be the best, most opportunistic time to post something like that. And then the biggest one here is the last one, is to create a wireframe or a storyboard is another way people refer to this, of your infographic. Like, let's show what a wireframe looks like. Because I would say most people that design infographics don't do this. And it shows.
You're right.
So, right.
Back in my column 5 days, we didn't always do wireframes in the early days. Yeah.
A wireframe is really before you start doing the visual design, but it's usually black and white. It usually has these content blocks, that are sometimes just Greek text as a placeholder. But basically you decide, a couple of these look like they fit on, a certain size of piece of paper. That may be part of your creative brief, is it needs to be printable on a piece of paper. Okay. That's important. How would we lay out this information? Where would we put each piece? We know people read left to right, top to bottom. So this piece of information is important before this piece of information is going to make sense, right? And so you've got to sequence it that way. And so this is what the wireframe or the storyboard does for you. And usually these go through a number of iterations before we nail it and then go into the design process. And so AI can create these if you give it enough context. But Jared, have you ever done a wireframe storyboard with a client?
Oh yeah, many times. Plenty of times. Back in the early days when we were all figuring out infographics in 2007, 2008, we were on the frontier of just going, oh, this is a cool medium. How do we reproduce this ourselves? And then you kind of backed yourself into, oh shoot, if we take the time to do a wireframe, it makes the process so much better because you have steps to follow versus looking at a blank page and creating something special.
Yeah.
Again, that goes back, that's the callback to so many people just rush into production. They just rush into,
straight into the design.
You know what? I imagine a cruise ship, and we take that cruise ship and we cut up, how much it costs to take a cruise. And like, that's the wireframe versus if they did the wireframe on that one, call back to the first episode, it probably would have been a lot better because they would have seen, oh, this doesn't really work. How can we make this work better?
The combination of the creative brief and the wireframe gives the designer so much information to work from, right? I've only got this much space to make this visual or this chart, right? Or I've got to cut this text down because it's got to fit in this space. Because you've got those targets and those limitations can really be inspiring to your design and help your design. And it saves you from backtracking. It saves you from showing a design and they say, no, we really need it to fit on a piece of paper, right? Well, if I'd known that ahead of time, right, it would have saved me a whole bunch of work.
And that's again, what we said at the top of the episode. This isn't about making a fast infographic. This is about making a good infographic.
Right.
And this is important for the viewer to know that wireframing is incredibly crucial. and prompting that with AI, working out that that wireframe, going, okay, that's an A version of it. What could be a B version of this? And that would be a great way to use AI
Yep.
On a wireframe.
So that's planning, right? And so that's everything we want to do before we actually start the design process. Then production, which is where everybody thinks all of infographic design happens. This is where we can use AI to help identify a color palette. If you're not good at designing a color palette,
Yep.
you want to start with a couple brand colors, but maybe your design's going to need 5-6 colors that's beyond what your brand style guide has, right? It can help you do that.
And honestly, when I was designing infographics early on, I don't know why. I'm just awful with color. I just have always been. I just did like black and white, give it to me. I can handle it. But when it comes to color, putting certain colors together, that's why I would use sites like Color Lovers. I don't know if you ever used Color Lovers back in the day.
Yep.
Just to get a template of, okay, these colors actually go together. This is where AI can be incredibly helpful. Because you're just chatting with it, being like, "Hey, I want this infographic to feel warm because it's a summer infographic. So what are some warm color palettes for me
that are compatible colors? You know, and maybe it needs to be warm colors, but include my brand colors.
Yep.
Right, and make it look like it belongs in my company production and in my website and stuff like that.
Yep.
Accessibility, I have one specifically here, is just test for color vision deficiency. Or, you can test once you have a color palette, if anybody who's got color vision deficiency is going to have a hard time seeing your colors in your design, right? And seeing the difference between the colors.
Yeah, and that's where contrast is so big, because of that's the biggest thing there. So good call
fonts,
out there.
What fonts do you use in your infographic, right? You can have favorites. You can have brand style fonts that you're going to use because your company uses them. Or you can have, fonts that are more in line with the tone you want your infographic to be. Do you want it to be fun and playful? Do you want it to be all business and professional? Your font choice makes a huge difference in what to do with that. Certainly the large language models can help you with optimizing your title and tightening up your text, right? You want as little text as possible in an infographic. That's a general rule.
Agreed.
But enough that you actually are getting your point across, right? You're going to have a certain amount of text to get your point across. And so AI can really help you summarize, cut it down, take your feedback and say, oh, that's really cut down too much. Let's put some back in to help explain this topic, or something like that. Really, really help you. Especially, it's so good with text. It can really help you with the text part of your infographic design. A good infographic has what I call a visual center of attention, right? It's not just a mass of all kinds of different things all over the page. There's actually one main point that is trying to communicate and get across a message to your viewers. You can really spend some time trying to figure out, how do I make my main point the visual center of attention of an infographic? How do I make that stand out more than anything else that's on the design?
Your visual hierarchy is so crucial to a good to great infographic.
So you generally only have about 5 to 10 seconds to communicate your message with your infographic to your audience. Most of them are not reading it, every word top to bottom, and absorbing everything. They just want to skim it, get the main point, and move on. And so that's why that visual center attention is so important. And so that's going to probably be something visual, illustration, chart, photo, combination of all of the above. But I have here separately also, it can help you brainstorm the types of data visualizations to use in your infographic. So you may have data, but you don't want to put 10 bar charts on an infographic, right? You want to mix it up or find something that's new and different than a bar chart. How else could I visualize this data? So in the world of data visualization, there are hundreds of chart types and ways to visualize data. AI can help you look at the data you're working with and suggest what other types of charts and visuals will work with the data that you have to communicate.
And there's also that wonderful resource that you mentioned a couple episodes ago on all the chart types and data types.
You know, the data visualization catalog is a website. It's a free website that does the same thing. Like if I've got comparison data, it will show you the chart types for comparison data.
So if you want to prompt AI and say, use this website to make suggestions. Yeah.
And then here's the big one. This is number 8 is where everybody jumps to and skips all the planning and skips everything else and say, just design me an infographic idea. Right. Yep. And it does. It can give you multiple layouts, visual styles. You know, is it icons? Is it illustrations? Is it photos? Is it, all kinds of different ways that you could take this as a design style? And it can give you, 8, 10, like a whole bunch of them. Usually when we do an infographic design process, these concepts are not complete. So it's not all of the data cleanly polished. It's really a piece of it just in a design idea so that you can see different design ideas. Here, let me show you that. Right. So if we were designing one infographic, right, these are all concepts of the same data, the same infographic before we have really flushed it out. And, some of this text is still Greek. Some of these charts aren't the real data, right? But you can see that each of these takes a very different design path. And we go through these, review these with clients, and then, choose one and take one of these directions or a combination of some of the aspects that we've got here, and then move forward and turn that into the final infographic. And AI can help you come up with 4, 5, 10 design ideas, as many as you tell it to. Too many can be overwhelming and get out of control. But, you could have it say, give me one in an illustration style. Give me one in a fun, playful style. Give me one in a very data-heavy, specific style, that type of thing. Some of the other things, once you get those concepts and you've really are looking at which ways to go, it can, like we said before, it's pretty good with illustrations. It's pretty good with icons.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, that's something that I agree.
One of the picks from a prior episode I had was the Noun Project, right, for icons, right? And they have 6 million icons now. And one of the best uses of the Noun Project is just to give you brainstorm ideas. You can put an idea into the Noun Project, like my infographics about mortgages, and it'll show you, a couple hundred icons that are related to finance and mortgages. And it just gives you ideas of ways to visualize the concepts that you're working with. You don't have to actually use those icons if you don't want to, but it gives you a whole bunch of ideas. AI can do the same thing. It can give you a bunch of illustration and icon ideas just as a brainstorming piece. It can create the final icon if you like what it designs. It can even turn it into an SVG vector file if you want to grab it and use it. I haven't found one that I've used yet that I liked enough, but I think it'll eventually get there. So it can, like I said,
you can also
like a creative collaborator and give you all these ideas.
Absolutely. And you can say, I like this icon style. Can you emulate this icon style with these types of things? And you can see what it produces.
Situations. Yep.
Yeah. And I this is what I've done so often is it'll create something for me. Then I'll vectorize that and then I'll modify it. Mm. And I feel better about doing that than going to Noun Project. And, unless, because a lot of people just go to Noun Project and just take from it instead of paying the fee for it.
Oh, and it's free, but only if you give the designer credit. And a lot of people think it's free and then never give the designer credit.
So yes, yeah.
Oh, But yeah, you're right. If you've got one icon you like and you've got these three others you want to make and you want them to look the same, AI can help you do that.
Yep.
The other thing we work with in infographics a lot are photos. And for the last 50 years, professional photos and stock photos generally focus on a main subject right in the middle. But for presentations and for infographics, we generally like the photo of an object with some open space that we can put text, right? Or a chart or some icons next to the photo to give it context
Yep.
and give it more information. Now the photo AIs like Adobe's Firefly has got generative expand where it can take your photo and just add some more beach to the left of it if that's what it is,
Yeah, that's so
right?
true. Yeah.
And it can just
Yeah.
edit and clean up some photos for you to use, and then you drop that thing into infographic, and then you add whatever it is you were going to add, or something like that. It can
Yep.
really help you with that. Formatting your source citations, like a lot of people do not do a good job in their data source list at the bottom of an infographic usually, or as a footnote at each step. AI it's just a text thing, right? It can show you the right way to source data as a citation and format that whole source list for you.
Yep. Wow. You're right about the citations. Yeah, it's if we could have a in college, we always had to do MLA or APA,
Yeah.
right? Side note, we should just have the cool infographics way to do sourcing and just make it
Yeah.
standard.
Here's the infographic
Standardized
standard for
sourcing.
source citations. Yeah.
Oh,
But
and
today,
there's
so much stuff is sourced off of a news article on the web somewhere,
sure.
right? What's the right way to cite that source? You
Yep.
don't want to just
Agreed.
say the New York Times.com
Nope.
and that's your source citation. No, that doesn't help anybody.
That doesn't help anybody. Yeah, no.
And the last one is something that we do with live people, which is test your design. So when we get to the point where we think we're close to a final infographic design, we will show it to a handful of people who have not been a part of the design process and get their impressions. Are they getting the message that we're trying to communicate? Do they understand the visuals that we've created? Really it's like see it cold, like most of the audience will when we publish it, and get their feedback. Well, you can use AI to do that too. You can ask AI to look at your design, upload your design, and say, summarize this and what are the key takeaways from this infographic. And it can be part of your test audience and give you some feedback that you probably wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah. When you give it a persona and say, what do you think about this through this persona?
Yeah, you can get very specific, right?
Mhm.
If this is targeted towards soccer moms, put your mindset in, and review it as if you were in that mindset of, a mom that's got two kids in grade school, and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So that's production, right? Now, a lot of infographic designers stop there and forget to do the rest of this work.
Yep.
Right? So when I talk about publishing is about you as the designer or the company that's publishing this infographic and all the work that you have to do to put it out into the world in a place where people can see it, share it, review it, comment on it, or whatever.
Yes.
Right? So in general terms, I usually talk about an infographic landing page. I've been talking about that for a long time. It's in the book, right? But the idea is that you want to have a page on your website where the infographic lives. Like every time you
Yes.
want to share it, it goes to that web page you created, that landing page. Every post, when other people are posting about your infographic, you want them linking to this landing page. You want everything focused on this infographic landing page. And so you really want to spend some time formatting it and making sure it's ready for sharing an infographic and that type of thing. And that includes all the metadata that goes along with that page, right? Title tags, alt text, meta descriptions, all that text and pieces of that website have to be optimized to make that a good infographic landing page. This next one is Translating your infographic into other languages. I've done that for a number of clients where we've had to post it and share it to either company offices or customers in different countries. And so we translate the entire infographic into another language. You can use Google Translate. You can use AI to help you translate that. And take it with a grain of salt, like all the data stuff. Take it with a grain of salt and double check it.
Yes, that one. Yeah, I think it
Right.
could do a rough pass, but if you go to someone who's native to help, again, it's not going to be perfect the first pass.
Right.
It's going to be a good effort. It's going to be maybe a B or a C effort, but not an A plus effort.
Yep. I mean, ideally, you have somebody that can speak that native language, right, and tell you,
Yes.
no, you meant to say car, but you said panda. And you really don't want to do that. It can help you strategize. And so this strategy is for your company publications. And on the next step, it'll be a strategy for your marketing and your outreach. It does a great job of creating marketing strategies in the LLM.
This is where AI is as doing marketing strategy.
It can be
throughout
phenomenal.
my career. Yes, it's
And
really
usually,
good at
just the idea of what channels does your company communicate with people in? Is it these
Yep.
3 social platforms? Is it
Yes.
email? Is it Discord? Is it videos? Is it, press releases? Is it industry news organization? Like, what are all the ways that the company communicates information through, and how can you utilize those to help share this infographic?
Agreed.
Once you have the final infographic and you want to make multiple social media posts, you don't want to have one graphic for all. It's really ideal to have a different thumbnail graphic for each social post that the company's going to put out about this infographic. It might be a different topic in your infographic or a different highlight.
Yep.
It can help you do this.
If you're a content marketer, sorry to interrupt you, but if you're a content marketer, you're going to want to test your thumbnails. AI can be really good to give you ideas on how to get the best thumbnail in your A/B test. Because you could create one and be like, okay, what's a good B test of this A?
Yep.
What's a good C test of this B? And that's it. It can give you really good suggestions based on that. And I've done that plenty of times.
And even not only is that different content or a different focus or a different text that's in that thumbnail, it's also resizing those thumbnails for the different social media platforms.
Sure.
Right? What does Instagram look like compared to Facebook, compared to LinkedIn, compared to Pinterest, compared to whatever?
Yep.
Again, text-based. So you're going to want to do your own company social posts on these social media sites. Let it help you go similar to what I did in the infographic. Really trim. What's the right word? What am I looking for? Streamline. Right, that text. Yep. Right, because you want to say it in as little text as possible in that post. You don't want to put 3 paragraphs out there if you don't have to.
Totally.
Right, because people aren't going to read that much. Right, and really fine tune that the text that you're going to put out there with each social post. Same thing, write a press release. If your company is big enough and you are putting out press releases about company milestones and product releases and everything else, put out a press release about your infographic, right?
Yep. And I have a lot of PR friends in PR, but I guarantee you they're using AI to write your press release. So just do it yourself. Just do it yourself.
Most companies have a blog these days, right? Make it an official blog post. I generally recommend not using your company blog as your infographic landing page that we started at. Put it as a landing page on your website, but then write a blog post about it and link to that landing page. Not only does that create an internal link, but people keep changing blog platforms and updating their company blog, and then content gets lost, right? It's easier just to keep the infographic separate than putting it in the company blog. But again, it can write the text, right? Give you a quick, maybe this is where you put a longer description of what the infographic's all about and where the data came from and why this is a great idea, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Certainly draft your emails. Email is a part of a lot of these marketing plans, and it could be to your customers. It could be an email to your prospects. It could be an email to your investors, depending on what that topic is, right? Or to your vendors, depending on what your topic is and who you're trying to communicate to, but write that company email and give you a draft of what to start with so that you can then edit that and put it in, your own words and the way you want it to sound. And then I don't know if you've tried this yet, Jared, but identifying ideal times to post. What are the best times to capture your audience, right? Might be what day of the week, might be what time of day, that type of thing. A lot of these platforms, whether it's the social media platforms like Hootsuite or like a MailChimp, or they all have built in trying to optimize the time of day and what day of the week to post. All that is being AI-ified so that we can use 100%. AI for that. And then generally on an infographic landing page, you have some sort of sharing buttons, like share this on LinkedIn, share this on Pinterest or whatever. Yes. But you have the opportunity in each of those sharing buttons to put in some default text. Like, what is it you'd actually want your viewers to say about your infographic? They get to edit it later, but that way the sharing link, when they click that button, isn't just blank, right? You could put in there some default text as to, basically a prompt to your viewers to say, this is what we'd like you to say about our infographic. Include the link back to the infographic. So that's in your default text as well, because people forget to link back to the original. But you can do all that and have AI help you really also streamline that text. So a lot of text in this one. And then all that is just you, the designer or the company, self-publishing and self-promoting. You haven't done any outreach at all yet. Like this, you haven't done any marketing yet. And so that's the last category, right? So the last category is promotion. So the last category is where you can use AI to help you to create an external marketing plan. How do you want to share this? Who do you want to outreach to? How do you want to time that? How can you approach them where it's going to be received well, that type of thing. The second one here is, I've got some examples here, but identify your outreach targets, right? If you're putting out infographics, there are infographic sharing sites. So it's not really specifically about your topic, but the fact that you have a new infographic design that they may appreciate, you can, approach all them and get them as new platforms to share your infographic. News media, PR publishing sites, your industry organization probably has a newsletter, probably has a website, probably has its own blog, that type of thing. And of course, influencers. If you are in an area or an industry where there are influencers, who are they? You may not have heard them all. There may be some new ones that you've never heard of. AI can help you go find them and give you a summary of who your top targets could be. Help you write that outreach communication. You have to convince them to share your post or to share your information. And in fact, this is one of the hardest things over the last 15 years is, once you've identified someone, finding a way to contact them. And ChatGPT, and I'm sure the other ones, can be scary good at finding contact info for people that's out there on the internet somewhere, whether it's emails or social media profiles or contact buttons on their website, that type of thing. It can be scary good at finding contact info.
Scary good.
Very good. And then if you plan to put money behind promoting your infographic, like you want to do paid promotion, you want to do paid ads, it can help you build up a promotion plan and where you think you should spend your money, spend more money here than here based on up ahead. Back when we defined our target and defined our goal for this infographic, it can then take that and optimize a paid promotion plan for you as well.
Yep. And more algorithms are preferring the paid method, and we all know this. And so having a paid promotion plan for your infographic is crucial, even if it's a $50, even if it's $100, something just to get some eyeballs on it, to get some momentum going. Obviously, you and I have been a part of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars promoting these things, not just 50, but for the people who are looking to truly have AI help you through the entire process, being willing to put a little bit of money behind it can go a long way, specifically if it's at the right demographic and the right platform.
Yep. So that's the 4 stages of infographics. And that was really just my brain dump of, here are all the ways I see right now that AI can help. I'll bet there are more. Like, I know there are more.
Well, it, to be fair, it's more than a brain dump. These are proven steps that
Yes.
you have used in the past that you didn't use AI for, right? You used manpower. And we all know this, manpower is fantastic, but it can take a little bit longer. And this is a great teammate. This is a great team member to help you get done, optimize and get things done maybe a little bit quicker. And so that's why I was excited to go through this. These four stages are incredible, all in one episode. I'm excited for what's next, and our next episodes are going to be focused on each one of these stages and going through and using certain LLMs through each of these steps.
Yes, but I'll clarify that we're not going to become
Sure.
the AI show,
No,
right? We're
no,
going
no,
to
no.
mix it in with our normal content, looking at designs that are out there and looking at infographics and that type of thing. So I do want to dive into these. I want to look at tools. I want to look at prompts. I want to look at
Yep.
results and really dive deep into how would you do some of these things. But this was just a very high level of, here are things you could do. Here's how AI can
Yes.
be go back to your collaborative partner.
All right, now it's time for my favorite part, which is I always want to know what your cool pick of the week is, because it's always surprising.
Well, and anything's fair game for a cool pick, right? We're not talking
Absolutely,
about
yes.
it has to be a
Yes.
software tool or a design tool.
Yep.
I've been on the road a lot recently, and so this is going to be my cool pick this week. This is called a Mountie. I have two of them. I have a small one and a bigger one.
Okay, all right.
So this device,
Is it Canadian? It's a Mountie?
no, it's not a Mountie. But this device holds either your iPhone or this one holds your iPad attached to the side of your laptop screen.
Oh.
So if you're working,
so even if you're at a table or if it's on your lap, so it holds your phone for you right next to
right.
it.
So I'll show you
that's
real quick.
cool.
So here's the laptop, right? And I may be in a coffee shop, or it may be just sitting in my lap in a park somewhere, or on the balcony, or something like that. And then put it up here on the screen. The phone connects here, and you just snip it in. And so now
Wow.
I have my laptop, and it just holds it there for me so I can see what pops up on the screen, or I can be running an app on the side. It could be a timer, could be my call, my phone call going on while I'm working, that type of thing. And then this larger
But something
one,
that you have.
Go ahead.
So this is something that you have that you didn't know you needed, and now that you have it, you're glad you do.
I use it all the time.
Yep.
And then this bigger
and it's
one,
called a Mountie.
It's called a Mountie. So this bigger one, and I'll show the website. I'll cut in the website right there. But this one, the larger one you can't see, has two clips on it, right?
Yep.
And so that'll hold an iPad, so it can be like a
perfect.
second screen while you're working on your laptop, because you can just share to your second screen as extended desktop.
That's great.
And it gives you more workspace while you're sitting on vacation or whatever.
Yeah. We should get cool infographics branded ones of those and hand them out at the holiday season.
And hand them out. It'd be good marketing for them to make that into something you could give away at trade shows.
Yeah, it's true. That's actually a really good idea. Okay, so my cool pick is actually, because I was thinking, okay, we're getting into AI. How have I used AI personally? Well, not a lot of viewers know this, but I actually have a lot of tattoos, and so I've used my my ChatGPT to help create tattoo ideas so that I can hand that to my tattoo artist so that he can use it to build something. And I sent one earlier today, so if you can update it, if you could show what it is, and it's kind of funny here, where I prompted it, I wanted praying hands.
Here you go.
As you know, always AI is going to just be a little bit off. So for the viewers out there, you can see there's an extra finger up there, and it kind of looks like devil hands as well. So, I wanted to create praying hands with a favorite song title from a band that I really like. And so this is what it came up with. But this is much easier for me to hand my tattoo artist, for him to modify. Again, human taking something that AI did to make it better. it's never going to give you what you need right off the bat.
Right. So this
Right.
is
I'm
like
sure
the
I could have worked
initial
with it.
design concept, right? This is a design that give you an idea, but then you can
Yes.
take that further with your
But
tattoo
here's
artist.
here's what happened. I actually recognized the extra finger and I tried to get it to remove the extra finger and it kept removing the entire index finger. So there it just was all of my prompting to try to make this better was a
Yep.
waste of my time. I just needed to take this, hand it to my tattoo artist and then get it.
Send
And
it.
so on our next show, on our tattoo and data viz show, maybe I'll show everybody
Your
where it
final
got placed
result.
and whatnot. Yeah, final result.
But that's the creative collaborator. That's exactly the idea of
Yes,
doing design
absolutely.
concepts is it gives you a good idea. It might be
Yep,
80% of the way,
yep,
and then you clean it up to be what you actually want.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Randy, I always love hanging out with you. I'm glad that you had a good time in Ireland. This is
Yes.
a fantastic topic because I think so many people are promising quick, easy tools to make infographics with AI. I hate to burst your bubble. It's not a quick, easy tool because AI just isn't there yet to be that quick, easy tool to give you exactly what you need in as few prompts as possible.
I
Use it
think
as a creative collaborator.
that's a good summary because there are people who were never going to take the time to design a good dashboard
Sure.
or design
Yeah.
a good presentation. They're just going to hit the template button, and whatever comes up is what they're going to use. And you know what? They're going to do that in AI with infographics too. They're going to
Yep.
say, make me this infographic. And that's all the effort they're ever going to put into it. And it's going to be one of the mass of what I call not very good, bad infographics out there, but they don't want to spend the time. They're not going to spend the time. But for those that actually want to get real benefits and make good infographics that produce results, use it as a collaborator because it is an entire process. It's not a whip up an infographic.
Yeah, no. And infographics have never been that.
No, they've
Infographics
never
have
been that.
never been. Yeah, and to be fair, you can tell the ones that have just been whipped up.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all
All
right,
right. Thanks
Randy.
a
Well, I
lot, Jared.
appreciate you, and I look forward to the next one.
All right. We'll talk to you again.
Okay. All right, and cut.
I mean, this is
Stay
a
with me
perfect
as I get to the
infographic.
point.
Plug and play.
Let's remove that completely from our minds that AI isn't about a quick fix. AI is about a team that can help you create better infographics. It's not about quick, it's not about fast, it's about how to use AI to make something better rather than just make your life easier. Because, Randy, 50 steps is kind of bullshit. That's a lot of fucking steps.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but that's the point of infographics. If you want a great infographic, you've got to be willing to put in the work.
Right. It didn't, it
No,
just
I'm
moved.
going to challenge you on this. No one cares what AI used to do. They only care
Right.
about what AI can do today.
Yes. But my point was that was a year ago. And today you can make good charts. It gets text right. It's
Mhm.
not getting infographics right. But what's going to be like a year from now?
Because if you're really interested in using AI to its
All right,
fullest
get rid of this.
potential,
Yep.
then you've got to take it serious and it's not just one prompt. Can we
Another
pause
great.
there? Because I have to sneeze.
Go
I
ahead.
got to pause. We got to sneeze.
That's okay.
Okay.
We're going to
We'll
record
go
this.
off camera.